All right, Sistas fans, it's been, today marks 2 weeks since the show has been off the air. And like I said before, I am in no rush whatsoever for the series to come back with season 6. It could stay gone as far as, July or August for all I care. I am in no rush. You won't see me making any online petitions, a hashtag. I might make, or memes or anything. I might make memes, but it will be like, hey, rumor has it, Danny's been driving around since the season finale, still thinking about how badly she roasted the girls. But I'm not going to be pushing for BET to bring the show back. I'm Sistas out. I'm Sistas out at this point. I need a break. Zatima's doing its thing, but we only got this week, then 2 more weeks before that show goes on a mid-season break. But then again, I don't know. Maybe they'll just keep the show going, or I think they'll take a break, though. I think they'll definitely take a mid-season. But season 5 outdid season 3 in terms of being bad. And like with my oval video, these overview videos aren't an entire play-by-play for the season. I did reviews on every single episode. I did live streams reacting to every single episode, except for the last few, because YouTube, for whatever reason, live streams weren't working for me. So I wasn't able to do it after the finale and whatnot. But you got my reviews, and hell, you all know how I felt about the season. This was easily the worst season of the show. Like this video, I'll talk about, some highlights, what I really didn't like, the things I kind of sort of liked, and then, that's about it. Go back to my reviews for anything else. But this was easily the most skippable season of the show. Like, you could miss the entire season. I think somebody could easily explain to you season 5 in 5 minutes or less, and you'll be like, wow, I'm glad I didn't watch that crap. It was just weighed down by so much stuff. I think one of the biggest sins of the season, I go back to any of my videos like, hey, here are some season 5 episode synopsis. And I remember so many times I'm like, why the hell? Especially during the first 11 episodes of the season, like in the first half. Go to Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, select Sistas Season 5, and just read the episode synopsis. Karen, Zach, and or Fatima are in every freaking one. Specifically Karen. I was so tired of it. Karen expresses how she really feels about Zach. Karen is dealing with the aftermath of her conversation with Zach. Zach has to referee a fight between Karen and Fatima. Fatima has second thoughts about Zach. Every week it was the same fucking thing over and over again. This season could be split into 2 parts. The first half, this huge buildup to Karen expressing her true feelings to Aaron and Zach through written letters that her mom suggested. On the one hand, oh, it was so wonderful to see Miss Lisa back. On the other, what the fuck was the point of her coming back if she just left as quickly as she came? Because her entire thing was to set up this letter reading dinner, and then she just left. I get it from the Tyler Perry mind of writing, where, well, if Miss Lisa stayed too long, a lot of the conflict in the show wouldn't be present because she would be around to resolve it. But at the expense of these grown-ass characters acting more My nephew is 12. He has anger issues. He can be a brat at times. But at the same time, I have seen this kid, who turns 13 next month, I have seen this preteen act with more maturity than these grown-ass middle to late 30-year-olds. This is stupid. The letter thing, like I said when it was first introduced into the story, this would have worked somewhere in between season 2, season 3. We are in season 5. Zach has, as Karen would say, moved on. Has a whole ass fiance. What is the point of Karen expressing how she feels about Zach when he's no longer an option for her to date. He's not chasing after her. He's not begging her to get back together, that is. There are other circumstances where he was begging, but that was, child related. This is so stupid. Aaron the only time Aaron became an interesting character was at the very end where Jennifer was introduced, but we don't learn a damn thing about their dynamic. We just know that he is apparently called Jean by her, and that's about it. That was at the tail end of the season. Up until that point, he's just such a too good to be true character where, oh, no matter how badly Karen treats me or the fact that she doesn't love me the way I love her or whatever, I'm still going to be around. And then I loved it when Miss Lisa finally started to learn a few things because Fatima revealed like, oh, the way she keeps calling me out of my name and pops up at the house unannounced and this, that, and the third, because Karen's ass was about to be exposed. But we never get the full weight of that because Karen ran. If I were Fatima, I would just air out all that laundry right there. Zach was just pretty much shat on the entire season. That was another reason this season flopped. Way too much Zach and Fatima. Way too much. Especially when it was forced drama between the two. This was easily the worst season for Fatima ever. And season 6 has a lot of work to do. If Fatima it will take a lot to redeem Fatima in my eyes, because I'm going to keep Zatima separate. But if I'm talking about Sistas specifically, season 6 Fatima, there needs to be a lot of work done to make me like this character again on Sistas, because this was not it. This season was the worst that I've ever seen from Fatima. And like I said, the viewing experience of season 5 ruined Zatima season 2 for me and a lot of other fans, because I got my hand on my finger on the pulse of the fan base. When I tell you the feeling of the fans between when Zatima season 1 trailer dropped and you compare it to Zatima season 2, the entire vibe was off. I remember, go back to my Zatima season 2 trailer breakdown. I remember that first trailer, and I'm like, or that first promo, then the actual trailer. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really feel the hype. Like, because of the fact that Sistas season 5 tarnished season 2 as Zatima for me. Okay, we got Temptation, some of the same drama. It's like, no, Tyler fucked it up. He had way too much drama and friction between these two and Sistas, that when you get to Zatima season 2 and they're going through the same thing, even with different characters, it feels really repetitive and fans ain't buying it. Like when I look, it's only been 4 episodes in the season 2, reading over messages and comments on my content, and I'm like, yeah, fans really ain't feeling it. I mean, sure, the numbers are still good, but overall, in terms of my corner of the internet, fans really aren't feeling this season like season 1, and I can't blame them. Yes, season 2 just started. It's still young, but Sistas season 5, the wounds from that season are just too fresh. From Fatima's next level insecurities about Zach and his faithfulness, the whole Ian thing, and then the worst offender was when Angela brought her butt into the series and showed that photo of Karen and Zach, and then that led to a whole level of drama. Yeah, so it's kind of like the first half of the season revolved around Karen's letters, and then the back half of the season revolved around the photo of her and Zach hugging at the salon, and that just led to a whole mess. And you notice that I'm almost 10 minutes into the video and I haven't really talked about the other characters, because what is there really to say? It's ironic how Sabrina and Maurice spent over half of the season in jail, and then when they came back, nothing really changed at all. They could have been gone for the entire season and I would not have cared at all. Calvin just became a pain in the ass and so damn annoying. In some ways, I think Calvin was worse than Maurice this season. especially towards the end when he just became incredibly cringy to watch in terms of him, you know, badgering Sabrina about what they were. Oh, you know, you're talking to that African and whatnot, and he got money, basically insinuating she's a gold digger and, you know, he doesn't have a chance with her, even though she's already made it clear a few times in the show she doesn't love him. She isn't into him the same way he's into her. She doesn't want to be in an exclusive relationship, and he's just pouty like a whiny baby, and it's annoying. Bio, he showed up a couple of times because remember, his character is linked to Sabrina, so with her gone for a majority of the season, he didn't really have a reason to pop up. But he helped Maurice get out of jail, which I still don't like the fact that he put up all that money for somebody he doesn't even know. And then from there, the whole thing with Q, stupid as hell. Maurice was better off in jail, like the way his ass was acting, and then his stupid ass going to confront Q, and the gun went off in the finale, so he's probably going back to jail. And Sabrina just whining, oh, do you have any money? Can you help him? And it's like, shut up. Over $1 million to get you out. Or actually, what was it? $3 million for her, 1.5 for Maurice, which is stupid. I think Tyler should have reduced those numbers to like even if it was a few $100,000, because no, I don't care. Like, even if my own sister was in jail and she didn't do it, I'd be like, look, I ain't got the 3 million. Like, we got to work something out. I'll get the best lawyers or something, but I can't afford to put up that much money. That is a ungodly amount. I think Tyler should have made the number smaller. Even if it was like 500,000, I think that would have been more plausible. Well, yeah, well, Jeremy, Andy got that $1.5 million lawsuit from the law firm. That's true, and I am no expert in this, but I'm thinking that even though it was 1.5, I don't know if she got all the money at once, or if it was like, you know, half now and a few months later. But, you know, even if she got all that money at once, the story could have easily been written where it's like she couldn't put up all that money at one time. But I think the Sabrina being locked up brought out the worst in other characters, specifically Danny. I still stand by what I say. I do not feel bad for what happened to her with Jonah, and I did an entire video going into detail about it. And it's not that I support domestic violence, but it's the fact that Danny's own personal bad choices led to what happened to her, from bringing a stray home to running her mouth even after he called her out of her name and was getting dressed to go. If she didn't say anything, there was a good chance Jonah would have just left the apartment. But no, and some people were like, but all she did was make a joke about his wee-wee. She did not make a joke. This woman did a whole Netflix comedy special, damn near a filibuster on his wee-wee, which led to her getting slapped. And then, of course, you know, she went outside. And speaking from a legal perspective, Andy said the moment you chased him after he left your apartment, that's when it pretty much works it against you in the court of law. You know, from chasing him down, beating him with that baseball bat or whatever, then ramming her car into his, even though I still cringe whenever they say ran him over when she clearly did not do that. And then him not even having a scratch on him when he showed up at the airport. Then, of course, the whole Preston thing. Tyler ruined his character. I've said that 1,000 times and I'll keep saying it. He should have been gone by now. Then the whole Danny thing and the way that she just keeps sleeping around with other people with Q. Whatever happens to her, I don't care. She brought it on herself. I can't feel any sympathy for her. Then Andy, you know, just pretty much throwing it in her face. Oh, well, she brought us straight home and she got spat on. And I'm like, that's a bitch move, Andy. I'm not even going to say like, that's a bad friend. That's a straight up bitch move. The same if a guy would do that. Like, yo, you're going to make light of a traumatic experience I just had to make a point because you feel so insecure about your situation slip with the toxic ass Gary that, oh, if anybody says anything about Gary, I don't want to hear it. No, be quiet. Andy, just awful. The fact that Robin as a character has been ruined. The fact that this heifer is in her feelings because Robin called her out. And it wasn't until he gave him $1.5 million that she would even give him the time of day again. And I still hate how Tyler wrote Robin, where you have this smart, incredibly bright character. He believes a random email about Andy sleeping with a janitor. instead of him figuring out where the email came from and then questioning Andy about it. Look, I got this email from Hayden, and I know this guy can't be trusted, but I just have to ask you from a professional standpoint, if did you sleep with one of the custodian workers here? Like, what's going on with that? And then if Andy did something like, Robin, it's Hayden you're talking about here. You know you can't believe anything this guy sends you. And it would be pretty interesting if she never answered the question. She would deflect by showcasing that the evidence of Hayden's treachery makes it so Robin shouldn't believe it. That would have more weight than him just randomly out of character talking down to Andy. And, she gets in her feelings about shit, and now she doesn't want to help him out. Even though he bent over backwards a dozen times to help out all of her friends when it came to getting them out of jail. Andy's trash. Then Gary, I will admit, he did ask one of the best questions of the entire series. Andy, what are we even doing? And speaking of Gary, him and Hayden, they're just cartoon characters or cartoon villains at this point. Even though the whole Tamara and Hayden storyline is one of my favorites of the entire series right now. So I can't be mad at that completely. The Heather stuff, I'm glad that got resolved at the end of the season, though I do feel like it was a bit rushed how it just randomly got resolved. $2,000 a month, sold. Okay. The Angela, oh yeah, I didn't like the Angela stuff. I did talk about that. Talked about Danny, Sabrina, Andy, Fatima. I think I talked about all the major characters, to be completely honest. But instead of shitting on the entirety of the season, just some of the things I liked. The return of Miss Lisa, that was great to see. I even posted a picture, I think over a week ago, about how even though I loathe season 5, having 3 different Tyler Perry shows represented in one scene was fantastic. When we had Angela, Fatima, Andy, and Madam over at Zach and Fatima's house. I mean, you had Zatima, Sisters, and all the Queen's Men represented in that one scene, and I thought that was pretty damn cool. Also, on top of that, you had Deja. I did like Deja, and of course her meeting Madam and getting set straight by her was pretty interesting. And yeah, I know it hasn't happened in Zatima yet, different universes or different points of the timeline, I don't know. Even though I do feel like Deja, I liked her better when I think I liked her first couple of episodes in Zatima. Then after that, it just got to the point where she became a comedic antagonist as opposed to someone who was sexy yet intriguing. I mean, they really just stuck it with the whole ghetto character as opposed to someone from around the way who was right up Zach's alley. Now he has to struggle with who he is now with a fiance versus, the kind of girl he would have went for in the past. But that's just me. Honestly, there isn't too much I actually liked about the season. That's why it's the worst season. Well, yeah, I think Tyler, season 6 is already, it has been done. They could release it tomorrow because it's done. But I do think that if it doesn't change in terms of the characters, because when you look at all of the characters, has anything really changed? No. You got the whole situation of Zach bending over backwards to appease Karen and sign an agreement despite the fact that this heifer is clearly lying about him being the father of their child. I didn't really talk about that because I think we all feel the same way about it. That's really all I got to say. I didn't like this season. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever go back to revisit it. Maybe a couple of scenes here and there, but I'm not going out of my way to like rewatch episodes. I've done that enough. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I think season 5 was trash. And yeah, one of the worst seasons of Tyler Perry entertainment I've ever watched. And the whole Q thing and Calvin and no, that's going into season 6, which I think is bullcrap. I think I speak for everyone when I say we don't give a fuck about the Calvin, Maurice, Q stuff. No, it was trash. So that's all I got. Let me know what you liked or disliked about the season, and I will catch you in the next one.